Hi everyone, how are
Hey
you?
everyone.
Happy New Year. It's Vicky and Miss Kristen, the sleepless astrologers. Of course, it's late night and we're just sitting here talking about the news of the day. But first, before we get into that, we want to ask you to subscribe and smash that bell so you know when we're here hanging out with you. And if you like this video, thumbs up because that's helpful, and tell a friend. And if you haven't already seen, your 2018 forecast for your sign is up and ready to go, so you know what the year will bring to you. Did I forget anything?
No, it's good.
That's good. Okay. So should I just dig into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So there's the sure that nobody lives in a cave, and everybody knows about the Logan Paul situation in Japan. Um, which, if you haven't, in the synopsis, he is a vlogger, and him and his brother and two other people went to the Suicide Woods in Japan, and unfortunately saw a recent uh, death and filmed it with a slightly blurry face. I don't know. And the person's backpack on the ground. It looks like a person from the forest ran into them and asked them to leave. They were only 100 feet from the parking lot. Instead of leaving the scene instantly, they stayed and made footage, and it upset a lot of the YouTube community. Since that time, Logan has written an apology, which didn't seem to satisfy the community, but has gone on to make a video, according to CNN, as of 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, saying that he knows that he shouldn't have posted that video in the first place. He is truly sorry for his actions and dealt with the uncomfortable situation with humor. Um, I've never heard of this guy until today. I didn't know anything about him. I realized today that he is a prolific social media mogul with 16 million viewers on Facebook, 15 million viewers on YouTube, and 15 million followers on Instagram. And he sometimes works with his brother. Um, and that's all I really know about him. When I saw the footage that I saw, he seemed like a goofy guy. He was wearing a goofy hat, and he just was out to have some fun and just happened to stumble across what he stumbled across. And then what happened happened. So that's what we got. We're just two astrologers. We're going to take a look at Logan's chart as astrologers. We don't know him. We don't have his time of birth. This is not a completely accurate reading. It's just a guesstimate. Logan, we invite you to join us on our channel and talk about your chart, and we can give you a full reading if you have your exact time of birth. And we are making no judgments. We're just curious to see what makes an Aries tick. That's anything to add, or?
I've never heard of this person. It sounds like, that fairly dynamic individual. When you were telling me the story, I thought that would, it's interesting to see. One of the things that you can really understand with astrology is motivations and, general overall nature. Now, we don't need a birth time for this type of speculation. But like you said earlier, this isn't like a predictive astrology. This isn't like, we're not saying this is for sure exactly what happened or anything, but we just thought we'd like to see a little bit more about this person. So I've never heard of him, but we're old. So I'm kind of out of the loop on these things.
Yeah, I don't know anyone.
So let me pull up his chart.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I think I put his name in backwards too.
Oh, okay.
Logan Paul, or is it Paul Logan?
Logan Paul.
Oh, then I was right.
All right.
So we have April 1st of 95. Again, I don't have his birth time, so I put in like a 6 a.m.
Okay.
Although, technically, to run a solar chart, we'd have to calculate the sun to be right here, but
yeah,
I'm not going to bother since we're not doing anything really predictive. But
Well, already I see some good stuff.
like good stuff.
Well, like interesting. Do we see a fire trine, or is that my imagination?
It sure is fire trine between Sun, Jupiter, and Mars. I
So
mean,
he is dynamic.
dynamic, like completely dynamic. I feel like I'd be very curious now about his rising sign
Yeah.
and stuff to see the transits that are happening in his life. But Neptune conjunct Uranus here. I mean, talk about like internet. I
Yeah.
mean, even just this on this sort of solar chart. I mean, the Uranus and Neptune might even be in the 10th,
Hmm.
right? If we moved it over.
Yeah.
Well, when you were telling me that story, I mean, I haven't seen the video, but it sounds tasteless. I mean, it sounds like,
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
wasn't
really disconnected from, I mean, a suicide is extremely sad and morose and all sorts of things. And it, I mean, I was pretty like, wow, it sounds like a horrible thing that you're joking on camera in front of somebody's dead body. So the one thing that I really wanted to know with his chart when you were telling me about him was his apology sincere? Was he being real when he said he messed up because he was nervous and, you know, he used humor? And I just quickly glancing at the
Mercury
transits, I would say yes.
that he was sincere,
I would say yes. That he,
even if Pisces is a ruler of Mercury here.
it's not badly aspected to Neptune, so I don't see that as a lying aspect. I
Hmm.
do see that as a sensitive water sign Mercury.
And he just
So
wasn't thinking. He just kind of.
I think he probably was emotional. I mean, and as an Aries, when your Mercury is in Pisces and as an Aries, you have, I mean, you always have your Aries edge, but you have less of an edge. And
Yeah.
so I feel like
He's very childlike,
well, it would
from
make
what I
sense. But it would make sense to me that he would react emotionally and say things emotionally and as an Aries, you say things when you don't, without thinking a lot of times, right? So my guess, especially Sun and Moon in Aries,
And Sun and Moon in Aries, yeah.
unless he was born at like 10 p.m., which could be, yeah, I would guess that would be a reaction that would be normal for him. What do you think?
Well, I think he said originally that they posted it or even went there in the first place to push the boundaries, and that it was not clickbait, where a lot of people are accusing them of clickbait.
Yeah.
Even if the video wasn't monetized, it certainly brought in viewers and subscribers. So I believe it was calculated, but I don't believe that they thought it would get the reaction that it did and the backlash that it did. And something I notice is that North Node is in Scorpio. So I think that there's a tendency to do things and wind up realizing later that it was slightly self-destructive. As dynamic as he is, when he goes down hard. And when he does things, it's hardcore. It's almost on the edge. But like I said, I haven't seen any of his other pieces of work. He could be his own worst enemy, but I don't think that there was. It was a tasteless thing to do, but I don't think there was malintent in it. I think it was a marketing ploy, just a bad one.
Well, he's young, right? And he's
Yeah,
also Sun and Moon in Aries, which is going to be impulsive and like, oh, this is going to be
childlike.
great. We're going to like do something like cutting edge and interesting. And And then when the reality hits, it's very somber and upsetting. And I think that that's probably, like, for example, if I see somebody in front of me trip and hurt themselves, I crack up uncontrollably. Like, it's ridiculous. My girlfriend, when I was a kid, we were outside playing and somebody threw a bat and it broke her arm. I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I was and she hated me after that because it was so mean, right? But I have like a
Well, I
very,
just laughed myself. You just listened to the story.
I know, but like, it's a nervous laughter. I mean, sometimes your emotions can take over. It happens all the time. Like, if somebody hurts themselves, except for my kids, but like something strange, I end up laughing, and I'm like a total asshole.
And I want to just state, not to cut you off, but we are not defending his actions.
Well, no, I mean, it doesn't.
We're just stating our experiences, actually.
I do feel like, if people are questioning whether he was being sincere about what happened, why he was laughing at a sight, I mean, it's probably, I just don't think that this person would be emotionally equipped to handle such a horrific scene.
You're saying he's emotionally immature?
I think that he's an Aries and he's a young person. And it might have been overwhelming. And I think probably it was a maybe spontaneous or impulsive sort of decision, and he didn't know how to handle it.
Like that Amanda girl from the Italian murders doing cartwheels in the police office while she's being charged for murder, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, maybe. Right. I mean, people handle things so strangely. That is one of the things that, as humans, we can sit back and judge other people in situations of how we think we would act. But we don't know how we're going to act, really.
I mean, have you ever seen a dead body?
I have, yeah.
Me too.
It's
weird.
Unsettling. It's very.
And I don't mean like in a funeral. I mean like dead on the street.
Yeah, I saw somebody get killed right behind my house in a motorcycle accident.
Oh my God.
And I saw the whole thing. It was terrible. And yeah, you just, I mean, I don't know that, especially somebody young who, they probably don't handle it very well. So I don't think it was, I don't see this person as malicious in that regard. Now, I know nothing about them. I'm just saying based on their chat. I just think they're young, they're impulsive, they have tons of energy. They thought it was great. They've got a lot of, fame for whatever reason. He didn't need to do anything clickbaity,
Yeah.
He's got it already. So this was just let's push some boundaries. And yeah, it was immature, right?
Yeah.
And this is certainly an opportunity to learn for him.
Well, I hope he learned something from it. I hope that node in Scorpio taught him a valuable lesson about empathy and
I think with his Mercury in Pisces and his Venus in Pisces, his Saturn's in Pisces, I think he probably got overwhelmed with feeling. And, he has a good capacity for empathy going forward. And you don't always see that with Aries.
Well, we don't know what the rest of his videos look like, though.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But just going by the chart, people don't like freak out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now
I want to go see more of his videos. I'm curious.
Yeah. And I think that Mars in Leo makes him think that he's bigger than he actually is. And that Jupiter, in Sagittarius, where it belongs, gives him the luck that people are saying his career is over. I don't think his career is over. He'll bounce back. Yeah, I'm really stuck on that node in Scorpio for some reason. Like I can't get it out of my ass. And it's trine Venus. So it's almost like he needs tragedy to learn stuff.
Also, the South Node would be then in Taurus.
Taurus.
And that would be trining Neptune and Uranus. Correct?
Yeah.
20, no, not trining because it's pretty far away. 29 versus 5. Right?
Would it make sense to do a transit for the day that this
Do you
occurred?
have the date?
The 31st, but it was in Japan. I don't know where in Japan. I want to say Tokyo.
Well, we could just do a transit. Let me just pull up a transit for the 31st. Logan Paul. Transits. 31st of December. It just happened?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so.
All right. Transiting North Node is right on his Mars. Like directly, let's see. It's 15, 2 degrees past it. Go down.
So this is a humbling experience.
Well, Chiron's hitting his Mercury. Definitely, that's going to be a big deal. Again, we don't know what house or anything like that, but Mercury was on Jupiter. Way too much talking.
Uranus is on the moon, so definitely something peculiar.
Yeah. Wasn't probably the best decision.
No.
But
No.
but it will bring him more publicity.
Yeah, especially that Mercury on Jupiter. Yes,
yeah,
it will.
that will bring him
I mean, he's trending Google.
Yeah, wow.
And I noticed that did we see Chiron on Mercury? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is what he's going to be dealing with going forward for a
He's
year
gonna
or
have to
two.
suffer with it.
It's gonna, yeah, absolutely.
But
He's going to be learning some lessons from this. That's for sure.
He'll still survive.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's going to stop him. He's got a really dynamic chart. I would really, if anybody knows him, I would really love to talk to him about his, find out his birth time and do his full chart.
Yeah, again, Logan, you're welcome to join us or chime in, or we can do your chart privately if you like, I guess. We can do your chart on your channel so your viewers can see it. You can come here and bring your viewers and meet our viewers, and we can all chart up together.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I think that would be very good.
I
mean, that Mercury hitting Jupiter on his grand trine with his North Node right there on Mars. That is like extreme karmic lesson right there.
Yeah.
This is a pivotal moment. Have you ever heard of those in your life? You can look back and turning points are in your life. This is a turning point right here for him.
I hope he takes advantage of it.
Yeah.
I hope that with all that Aries, that he realizes what this is and takes advantage of it and does something good with it, like donate some of this monetized money that he said he didn't get from this video to suicide prevention.
Mm-hmm. That would be a good way of handling the karma.
Speaking of which, if you are watching this and you are depressed or feeling suicidal for any reason, you should reach out to your National Suicide Hotline. And there's also crisis text or text crisis. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but you can find them on Facebook and Instagram, and someone will be with you instantly on your phone.
One other quick thing. Definitely reach out. But I think that especially younger people they're so in touch with humanity in a very untouchable way, right? They're so connected and they're so separated from life with a camera lens that
they're disconnected from people.
Well, yeah, we're so desperate for connection, and we're constantly in communication, and we're constantly looking for validation, and yet we're lonelier than ever, right? And
Yeah.
especially, I think this YouTube phenomenon where, you know, you can talk and you can get interaction, but you're not really connecting. And I think that when you go and do something in life, the reality of life smacks you in the face, right? You're not behind a camera lens. You're not seeing a dead body on the screen. You're seeing it in person. I think that is probably a significant wake up call. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's just,
Maybe.
yeah. Well, it could be. It could. Well, obviously, everything can go either way,
Yeah.
right? So,
It's all speculative.
totally. But I think that there's.
Especially with Uranus on that moon, we really don't know. Um, he probably doesn't even know what he's thinking or feeling at this point. Right now, I think he's probably trying to save his own ass a little bit. Um, there is remorse, yes, but I think it's more of a remorse that he made a bad choice and not necessarily about what he did. And that's just kind of the vibe that I'm getting of my own personal opinion.
Well, it could be. I don't. I mean, I haven't seen any of his videos or anything, so I have no idea. But the scenario that you told me he said seems sincere to me. So.
It's sincere.
Well, it's not. You know,
I didn't see the apology. I just saw the 2 lines that CNN had posted, and I haven't seen the video.
Well, this isn't like that crap Kathy Griffin baloney where,
Yeah,
you know, she did the whole thing. She staged the whole thing in advance, even the apology.
yeah,
That was
she's
so
done.
insincere. That
Yeah,
was just so tasteless and insincere. The whole thing, because I mean, there was no, the remorse was already pre-scripted. That's not like this here. I don't think this isn't like that. But
do you think he's a good person?
well, I, you know,
I guess we need his time.
I think you do need your time because you don't know where everything is in his house. But I think Venus in Pisces, Mars in Leo is a generous, understanding person that counteracts that sun and moon in Aries. They're very sincere people. They might be harsh. They might be loud. I mean, maybe not with Pisces and Mercury and Pisces, but Aries tend to be genuine people and they're givers, especially with Mars and Leo. I mean, he'd probably do anything for his friends or his family. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this chart. And I mean, he's got some challenges like everybody, but he also is, I mean, he's got some great opportunity and potential. And I think
I mean,
that
he's already established that. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, who
But
knows where
like,
he's going to go from here?
right.
And he could probably stop what he's doing at this point and coast.
Use your powers for good.
And he didn't do that this time. But
He's young.
hopefully he learned. Yeah, he's young. We all do dumb stuff when we're young, but this was dumb. I mean,
So,
this was
yeah.
really, really dumb.
It's pretty upsetting even to hear about it, you know?
Yeah, I didn't believe it when I first heard about it. I'm like, nobody would do that. But the person that I was talking to was like, oh no, I did like a 15-minute rant about, and then I went through YouTube and it was like rant after rant after rant. And that's how I saw the footage, because they would cut the footage in and then they would rant after what he would say and then they would show the footage. So are these people just as bad as he is for showing any footage at all?
Oh, it's almost worse to me because it's already been taken down and they're capitalizing on it, you know? Like, I think that's kind of worse.
Or do you think it's necessary to prove the point?
Prove what point?
Whatever they're trying to say.
Uh, I mean,
I don't know, it's a thin line.
yeah.
It's
I
a
don't
thin
know.
line. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that can be easily triggered. I mean,
Yes.
and to know that a place like this even exists was nauseating.
I'd never heard of that.
No.
I
My
mean,
ex-husband lived in Japan and never mentioned like, hey, I have a good idea for you, you know?
oh,
Um, so like I had no idea that, 1,000 people a year are like, you know what I'm gonna do? And they were told that they were in a restricted area. Um, and I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it looks like just a day of bad judgment all over the place. Just look at
weird stuff.
Node. We said Node on Mars, right?
Yeah.
I already put that out. Yeah. That, I mean, just bad
Mercury
energy.
and his North Node activating that grand trine energy.
I'd be interested in seeing the brothers chart. I should have got information for that.
Right.
Um, I don't, I don't know. What's our summary of this?
I think that he didn't realize what he was getting into. And I think he's learned some lessons. He's going to continue to learn lessons for another year or two just from this incident. It's an
You think it's gonna
opportunity.
follow him?
Absolutely, it's going to follow him. Not just his fame and his whatever, his YouTube channel, but it's going to affect him and how he communicates. I think that if he takes this lesson seriously, this will help him evolve as a person to be more. I mean, I think this could be a very turning point moment in his life to either, like I said before, use your powers for good or
Don't use them.
for bad. So let's hope he uses them for good.
Yeah, I hope he learned something from this, and rest in peace to the person that passed away. And
Yeah, that hurts my heart to think about. It really does.
I hope his family survives. And
Yeah,
once
because they have to see that. I mean, they don't
yeah,
have to, but they can
yeah,
now.
it's filmed
Oh,
for relatives and family to see
yeah.
all over the world now. I was seeing people from Australia. I was seeing people from England. I was
Yeah.
um, forever immortalized on YouTube.
Well, hopefully this could be like a humanitarian thing. Like hopefully it brings more awareness to
to
suicide
suicide.
and how serious it is. And
Maybe with Uranus on the moon, it will be.
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, it could be a really good opportunity for people to talk about suicide and depression, and the idea that a culture would have an entire forest for it. I mean, like a specific place to go and do it.
I mean, I can speak as someone that tried. If you get that desperate, reach out, and it's not worth it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You may not see it, but I swear to God, it exists. And maybe that's maybe why I have a little less mercy for him than you do.
I've gone through depression as well.
Yeah,
Listen,
I know you have.
And yeah, I took a bottle of pills when I was in high school. And
Much sooner than me. I didn't know that. Why'd you do that?
No, I wasn't. I didn't. That's the thing as a young person, you don't know that everything changes. Like bad things do not last. Good things do not last. And I feel like as you get older, hopefully you realize that moments are just moments and nothing is going to be like, I see all this stuff right now. I have a 12-year-old and I keep thinking we have kids out on social media and they're cruel as hell to each other. I mean, it's just
They were cruel as hell before
social media. They've always been cruel, but when it's so pervasive on social media and all these people are attacking you, you really can't see that there's life beyond this moment, because you just don't have that ability when you're young.
It's demoralized.
Well, yeah, they're completely, and it's this power game. It's a hierarchical game. And when you realize that people who are being cruel are just hurting inside themselves, because happy and good people are not here to hurt other people. They just don't.
Yeah.
So like the people who are doing that are miserable inside. And as a parent to somebody who's 12, I keep saying that to my son, because he's had some kids be mean, and they don't understand it, but they just don't understand that it's not going to last. They don't understand that this will change, life will continue on, and every time you get through something like that, you get stronger, hopefully, but you get experience, and the experience is what can tell you that this isn't going to stay the same.
As a 28-year-old woman, if you told me that, I wouldn't have believed you.
It's in the 20s, you know nothing. You know nothing in life until you're like over 30. You have to go through a Saturn return before you really understand anything in life. I love young people. I love their passion and their energy. They just are just clueless. They're just absolutely clueless about life and like how the cycles of life go.
Some are a little more evolved than others.
I'm not saying that they're all dumb. I'm just saying that they're like, they really don't understand the cycles of life, because there's some things you can say to somebody over and over and over, but you're never going to understand it until you experience it yourself. You don't know that, when you go through your first breakup, that, life
someone else will come along.
Someone will come along. Their life, it's just so cyclical. There's just these periods of life that are difficult for a purpose. Then there's periods of life that are joy. We have these ups and downs, and life would suck without the downs, because you would never experience the joys, right? But you can't understand that. You really can't understand that until you experience it. And I just think this is it's an opportunity for young people, especially in like the YouTube generation. Maybe they can experience some of this sort of vicariously, and
maybe come together, and
that'd be great.
Do something to make a difference and help the solution and not add to the problem. And I hope that Logan finds a way to make a solution out of this problem besides an apology. Mm-hmm. I really think he should donate some of his money to suicide prevention. And I think he owes the family a personal apology. If he can find them. I probably can't find them, but he can certainly film one and put one on YouTube. And unless he did on the original video, I don't know.
Right.
And I hope nobody else gets the idea to do this.
Yeah, some things are just bad ideas.
Yeah. So,
all right. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that being said, we welcome your comments, even though we have an idea that some of them might be a little angered. And, but it was just a bad experience, and it shook up a community today, and we wanted to just touch upon it and show from astrology standpoint what could propel someone to do such a thing, and that things don't always look the way that they are on screen, and you have to take things with a grain of salt, I guess, or that's kind of minimizing it a little bit, but for lack of a better word, and maybe think before you film.
I also think before you judge people. You just don't know. I mean, it was a bad idea, but you don't know how you're going to react in that situation. Even though you can sit in your comfy chair in your comfy house and say, I would never do that. I would never have said those things or joked about something like that. I would never have done that. I think that that's like so ignorant, you know, because you have no idea what you're going to do in any certain experience. So I think that everyone needs to learn a little bit about that. I mean, these comment sections in every newspaper article are absolutely ridiculous because we all want to sit here and be the judge and jury for somebody, but we have no clue in the moment how we would all react in certain circumstances. I mean, the only thing you can say is this dude made a really bad decision to do this, you know, absolutely.
But we don't know how many other bad decisions that he made, and this
Well, we
might have
don't.
been the cherry on the cake of bad decisions.
Could be, yeah, absolutely. Maybe this is the one that's going to help teach him that lesson. So hopefully.
Yeah.
Everyone has hope. Everyone has potential. And, you know, I always say never give up hope to the last possible second, you know, in somebody. So everyone is redeemable. Everyone.
That's why you are the Jupiter to my Saturn.
Right. I am an optimist. That's true.
And I'm sitting here like,
All right.
And with that being said, once again, we, if you don't hate us, ask you to subscribe and hit that bell, and you can thumbs down us. It's okay. But if you liked it, please thumbs up and comment. And once again, Logan Paul, you are welcome to join us for a consultation live to speak your piece and have your chart done.
And we can help you figure out a good path for you going forward.
Yeah, so you don't do dumb things like you did. Because that was dumb.
That was pretty dumb. That was pretty awful. Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll have a happier subject next time.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.